Before we get started, I am not a lawyer. This is just me interpreting the Cricut Angel Policy to help explain it to you as a viewer. Please read the policy yourself before working with your Cricut and Cricut Design Space. I take no responsibility for your use of the Cricut and its software Cricut Design Space. You can find the Angel Policy linked below for your reading pleasure. Hi everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. Be sure that you're subscribed here on YouTube, that way you don't miss out on any of the fun crafty content that we have coming. Now today's video is not going to be teaching you about a craft, but we're going to talk about the new Cricut Angel Policy updates. And we'll discuss the Angel Policy in general. The reason we're doing this is I've seen so many questions about this new policy, and sometimes that legal jargon can be really confusing, so I'm going to break it down for you, show you some examples of what you can sell and what you cannot sell using your Cricut. I know it sounds crazy and insane, but I promise it's easy to understand once you break it down and you see these examples. So without further ado, let's head over to Design Space. So the first thing that I want to show you that is a little bit different with the Angel Policy and is super helpful is in the images. So I'm going to go to images and I want to go to advanced to search just so you have a little bit more space on the screen. So what I want to show you is this little purple, I call it a star. I'm not really sure what I would call it, but it's a little purple icon. And when you see that little purple icon, that is one of the items that you cannot sell a physical product using. So for example, if I wanted to use this dragon image, I could not put this on a tote bag, a t-shirt, a keychain, make a decal with it. I cannot sell that product. I could use that for personal use if I wanted to make myself something or gift a friend something, but I cannot make a profit off of that image. So let's just look for any image. Let's look for a ghost. And I'm going to show you some different items that you can use. So you'll notice we have a lot of purple. And that's one thing that I think you're going to notice with the Cricut Angel Policy. You're going to see a lot of those little purple items here. But there are lots of ways that you can kind of go into your categories here. And you can change some of your little features. And you can also look over here where you've got like the general features, but you can also come down here and you can tell it that you only want to see Cricut items and not contributing artist items. So I can go like Cricut, and now you'll see, for whatever reason, the one at the bottom, doesn't work right, but that one does. I think it's just a glitch in the system, but if I get rid of that one, you'll see that I get the same images. But if you want to make sure that you're going to use an image that you're allowed to sell, I would recommend going under creators and brands, and you just want to choose Cricut, because if I choose contributing artists, you're going to see a lot of those purple dots. So I'm going to get rid of those. And now I can take any of these images that they have here and use these to create anything that I want to, whether I want to create cards, tote bags, t-shirts, whatever it may be, I can create with this and I can sell the finished physical item. So if I want to take this little ghost right here and I want to add that to my canvas and I want to create her into a cute little design, I can definitely do that. And you'll see here now I've got my ghost. So I can use this or any elements in this to create a design. Now, let's say I don't want the stars. I want to change it up a little bit. Am I allowed to do that? With this image, because this is a Cricut image, it does not belong to a contributing artist, and it is not a licensed image from one of those big brands, I am allowed to change this up and add to it or take away from it to make it an image that I want to use. So let's say I don't want to use any of these stars. So I'm going to just go ahead and hide the stars, but I would like to add some hearts to it. All I simply need to do is go over to the shapes, and I can use any shape, including these shapes here, if I want to sell my item. I cannot sell a digital version of anything from Cricut. However, I can sell physical, meaning you can touch it with your hands. So if I want to add some hearts to this and create this to be my design, I can sell physical items with this design. So if I just want to add a couple of hearts, I want to make them the same colors that the stars were. I just didn't like the stars. I'd rather have hearts. This is an item that you can now physically sell. Again, there's a big difference between a digital item, which you cannot sell using anything from Cricut Design Space, versus selling a physical item, which is an item you can hold in your hands. So this item is something I am allowed to sell. Now, let's talk about something we wouldn't be allowed to sell. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to delete this. I'm going to show you guys a few different designs and things that we can kind of show you what you can use and what you can't. So if I go under images and this one, let's go with this butterfly. Now this butterfly is from a contributing artist, meaning I cannot sell this design. But let's say, you know what? What if I change it up a little? What if I use contour to create some colors? So let's use contour. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to do this really easily just so you can see. I'm going to hide all contours. I'm going to make one of them, I don't know, orange. And I'll put the orange one behind the black one. I'm going to align them and I'm going to center them. Can I sell that because I changed it? I absolutely cannot, because this design belongs to a contributing artist. Now let's say, okay, what if I just use the orange? Can I sell that? No, you still cannot sell that. Even though you changed it, it still belongs to a contributing artist. What if you slice it in half and you only sell half of the butterfly? You cannot do that. You cannot sell a physical or digital item using designs from the contributing artist. So again, you can tell if it's a contributing artist's image because it will have this little purple dot. Those items cannot be sold physically or digitally. So even if you change them up a ton, you add colors, you take away things, it does not matter. That design still belongs to that contributing artist, and you cannot sell physical or digital items. Now, I'm going to show you something else. So let's say I'm going to search because I do own one of these images. I just don't remember which one, but let me go. I think it's this one that I own. So I'll use this guy because I do own this one. I bought it forever ago. Now let's say, okay, I'm going to use this image of Olaf, but I only want to use his carrot for whatever reason. I just want to use his carrot for something. Am I allowed to do that? No, you are not allowed to do that because this belongs to a licensed image, meaning that this image belongs to Disney. Now, one of the companies you don't mess with is Disney. They are very, very protective of their licensed items and trademark items, and you don't mess with Disney. You can't use any single piece of this design at all. You cannot use his little stick arms. You cannot use the little coal dots. You can't use any pieces from this design. Even if you slice this up into a million pieces and you want to just use maybe his eyebrows, you cannot do that. That goes against Cricut's policies. So it's really important that you understand that even if you bought the rights to this image, these rights only give you the rights to make personal items. I cannot sell anything with this image or any parts of this image, both digitally or physically, because this is a copyright trademarked licensed image. This belongs to Disney, and Disney allows Cricut the rights to let us use the images, but only for personal use. So even if you just wanted to use one of these little coal pieces and you wanted to sell something that has one of those little coal pieces, you are breaking the law. So anytime you have an image that especially is a licensed image or belongs to a contributing artist, you are not allowed to sell that in any way, shape, or form. Even if you chop it up, even if you change the colors, you cannot sell those images. Now, I know that can be a little bit confusing, and you're sitting here thinking, yeah, but it's just a shape. It doesn't matter. It still belongs to that image, and you can't sell it. You can't sell it physically. You can't sell it digitally. Now, another thing. Now, I'm going to just kind of get rid of this guy real quick, and let's get rid of this piece too. Let's go into projects. So what I want to show you, and I'm going to go here to search all projects. Now, what I'm going to show you here, let's look for something that has several pieces to it. I just need something that has like a couple of pieces, parts that's going to be a little bit easier to, here, this guy. I don't know, he's cute. But what I want to explain to you here, so with a design like this, you can't sell this design. This person, uniquely crafted by Lori, no hate to her, really super cute design. However, For this project, she used a license or a contributing artist's image. So when you're looking for something, if you want to make cards, if you want to make banners, what you're going to want to look for is something that does not contain this little purple dot. So let's find one that doesn't. Now, it could take us a moment to find something. But like, for example, this one, tons of the artist contributors, so you can't sell a physical item with that. So I'm going to click through and try to find one that doesn't have any images created by a contributing artist. Now that can be pretty difficult. I'm going to be honest with you. So if you're having trouble and you're like looking through these and you're like, well, they use this pumpkin and that's a contributing artist, you can't use it to sell it. What you can do is, again, go to all projects and you can click Cricut only. Now, these items should only have designs that belong to Cricut. So let me find like a layered card if they have one, because I think that's going to be one that's going to be a little easier for me to explain to you why we can use this. Like this barn door one should be perfect. So you'll see here, there's no contributing artist, and they do have like all the directions here. There's no contributing artist images, so you can sell a physical product made with this. Now, what I'm going to do is click Make It because I want to show you what it looks like on your screen, on your Make It screen, so I can kind of explain, hopefully, why one of their policies. So what this is this is a bunch of pieces of cardstock to create that card, right? So there's a ton of different pieces. What you have to do in order to follow their policy, you cannot sell this card disassembled. So if you wanted to create this card, you would need to actually physically assemble this card to sell it. You would have to finish the entire card. Everything would need to be glued on, created, all of that, and it needs to be sold as one piece. You cannot sell what I would call like a card making kit, where you cut out the pieces, you include directions, and then your customer would assemble it, put it together, glue it together. So if you make things like scrapbook embellishments, those would be considered kits. You cannot sell something that is something the person would have to assemble. So you cannot sell something like a card kit. You cannot sell something like they would have to glue pieces together, assemble pieces together, anything like that. You have to sell a fully finished project to follow their angel policy. You can't sell this as separate pieces of the card. You have to sell it as it shows here on the screen, all put together. So if I like ungroup this really quick, like you could not sell this as these pieces of the wreath and the bows and all of that. You have to physically create this design yourself and put it all together. Like, you know what I mean? You have to like put it in your machine, cut it out, and then assemble it, and then you would be allowed to sell it. It has to be a fully finished product. Now, again, you cannot sell a digital version of anything that you create using their elements here at all. So if you created, maybe you changed up the wording, maybe you changed the shape, whatever it may be, regardless of if you changed it, you cannot sell the digital version of it. It still belongs to Cricut. Now, you may also be thinking about using a font with your design. So let me just pull this up to show you how you know what fonts you can use. So I'm just going to call this, let's just call it Cricut Angel Policy. We'll just type that out so that we can see fonts. Now, you'll see that your fonts are up here at the top. I want to point out to you, first off, you can use a system font if you own the commercial use rights for it, which you can get from the websites I'll link down below. But what you can also use are fonts that have this little A next to it. Those are your access fonts. And you'll also have fonts that don't have that little A, and you can use those as well. This is a terrible font. But if you want to use any of these fonts to create a design, you can absolutely do that. So like if I want to use whatever the heck this is, and then let's say, you know what I want to do? I'm going to make it smaller so you guys can see it. I'm going to take this and I want to Let's add a little curve to it. So I'm going to just go over here. I'll add a curve. I can do that. And then maybe I want to add a little offset to this curve. I can do that. And that is my design. And I want to cut this out on some HTV and place this onto a tote bag. I can do that because this font is included within the Angel Policy. Now, I'm not sure if they have any fonts that are necessarily like licensed. I'm pretty sure they have at least one that I recall, but I don't know the name of it. But you'll be able to kind of tell here because, again, it'll have this little A. Now, I don't know if this will allow me to filter, but let me see if it'll let me filter to like see if there's anything that'll allow me to do. It doesn't. So my guess is that we don't have any necessarily licensed fonts, but if they did add some, oh, here we go. Nope, that's not even licensed either. That's just one that you could buy outright, but you could use that if you purchased it, to the best of my knowledge. But if they have a font that's like a Sesame Street font or a specific Disney font or something like that, that is a font you would not be able to use. But I only see A's over here. I'm not seeing anything that looks like it would be a licensed font. So I think in general, your fonts are fine. You'd be okay to use pretty much any of them. But that'll hopefully help you with the fonts and like if you want to use an offset, if you want to use a curve. But keep in mind that this can only be used as far as a physical product and not as a digital download. So if I wanted to create this as an SVG for somebody to purchase, I could not do that using Cricut fonts, using the offset, using the curve. I would need to create something in a fully separate program like Inkscape, and then I can make that an SVG, but I can't use any of these Cricut elements to do a digital product, but a physical product is totally okay. Let's talk print then cut. So I've had a lot of questions on this policy with print and cut because it is a little bit confusing. So if I'm going to go into like my own uploads and I'm going to make a sticker sheet and it's going to have these 4 stickers on it. These are stickers that I got from Creative Fabrica, which contains a commercial use license. These are not images from Cricut Design Space. Now I'm going to size them down really quick because they are really big and I just want you to just have a visual of them so that you can really see what they look like. This is being such a butt today. I'm on the beta section and I hate it. Just an FYI, absolutely hate the beta section. But what I want to do is see, and it won't let me like grab things. It keeps changing things, whatever. She's being a butt. So I just want to make this 5 inches and it's just like whatever, 4 inches. I don't care. You're making me mad. So let's say that I've got these stickers and I want to create this sticker sheet because I have uploaded these stickers from a place that contains a commercial use license. I can take these designs because they don't belong to Cricut and I can sell them as a sticker sheet. Now, let's say I want to go into Cricut and I want to use some images of theirs. Let's go under advanced search and I'm going to filter down my selections here. So I only want to filter to print and cut. Now you're going to notice on this first page, we can't use any of these images. But how do we know we can't use these images? It's going to be the same way I explained it to you earlier because we've got these little purple stars or whatever they are. And we also have this licensing. This is licensed by Sesame Street. So if I scroll down a little bit, I will find some images that I can use. I just have to scroll for a second. But you can see all of these have that little purple dot thing. But if you go past the Star Wars and go just a little bit further down, you're going to find a few images that you can use. So for that sake, let's just add this dog to my canvas. We'll add this dog to the canvas and this dog to the canvas. Now I've got these 3 little print and cut stickers that I can use with my Cricut. I can print then cut them. However, their rule on their images is much different than a rule with using images that you got from a website that offers a commercial use license. If I were to create these images and use them as a print then cut project, these would have to be placed onto something physical like a cup, a notebook, a ruler, a keychain, whatever it may be, for me to sell the product as a design. These cannot be made into a sticker sheet and sold as stickers because they don't allow that with this policy. But if you use images from a company, and these are Creative Fabrica, that has a commercial use license, and I want to sell these as a sticker sheet, so these 4 very colorful designs, I can do that. However, if I use images from Cricut and they're not licensed and they're not contributing artists' images, regardless of all of that, these have to be placed on some sort of physical product. Whether that be, maybe I print and cut them with HTV, they have to be put on a shirt. They have to be put on a tote bag. If I print them out as stickers, they have to be put on to a notebook, a keychain, whatever that may be. Maybe I'm going to print these out on cardstock. These would need to be applied to like maybe a stick to make them for cupcake holders. They would need to be applied to a banner. They would need to be applied to a scrapbook page. I cannot just sell an image that I printed on to cardstock as a single piece. It has to be part of a quote unquote finished project. So whatever that may be, it cannot just be the image onto something and that's all it is. So that's one thing that you really want to think about when you're doing sticker sheets, printables. You can't sell unless it is on a finished product. You can't sell like a pre-made print and cut HTV product that somebody else is going to press. Just like you can't do that with like a vinyl product, you can't do that here with stickers. And that's really important. But that's one of the reasons that I do really encourage a lot of like using other websites to get products, because these include a commercial use license, which does allow you to do these as a sticker sheet. You could do these as a piece that you could sell that somebody could add to a scrapbook, printing it on cardstock. You can do a lot with a commercial use license product from another website. So for just reiteration, these 3 products here, these are all from Cricut, these 3 dogs. I am not allowed to sell these 3 dogs if I just print them out as stickers. They have to be placed onto something physical. So the person purchasing cannot take the sticker and put it on something themselves. You have to take the sticker and put it on the product for them. So you can't sell just the sticker. But if you get a design from another website, these 4, for example, I can sell these as a sticker to someone. I can sell these just as a printed sticker. You cannot do that with a Cricut image. So there's a big difference depending on the images you use. Now, I'll link a couple websites down below where I like to get my commercial use images from, because that's really going to save you arguing in your brain about, oh my gosh, is it safe? Can I use it? You're going to know that you're going to be able to use these just fine as a sticker sheet. Anytime that you're using a Cricut image, it has to be on a finished product. That is so important. So it's something you really need to think about when you are creating with Cricut images. And again, I'll just say this one more time. You cannot use the contributing artist images at all to sell. Those have the little purple dot. And you cannot use licensed images that'll have the logo in that lower corner, whether it's WB, Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, Sesame Street, whoever else they may have at any time. So I hope this clears up print and cut a little bit for you, because the rules are a little bit different. Because in my brain, I always think that stickers and a sticker sheet would be considered a finished product, but per Cricut's Angel Policy, they are not a finished product. They have to be placed onto something. But again, that's for Cricut images. If you're using other images that don't belong to Cricut at all, they're either drawn by you, purchased from a website that has commercial use license, something like that. Those are yours. You can make a sticker sheet and sell the sticker sheet. Let's give you a quick little overview. You cannot sell licensed images, contributing artist images with the pink star, digital versions of any design using Cricut elements, kits that require assembly, stickers made with Cricut images and designs, nothing containing Cricut, Cricut Machine images, or Cricut Cuties in any form, and anything created with the Cricut AI system. I know that seems like everything, but it's really not. So what can you sell? You can sell Cricut images that are non-licensed and not a contributing artist's design. Physical items you designed yourself with Cricut elements like fonts, offset, curves, images, and more. Stickers and sticker sheets made with designs you drew or created yourself from scratch or got from a website with commercial use license, or designs and images on physical items from those other websites as well. There's a lot that you can sell, so don't feel like just because this angel policy covers a lot of things you can't. There's a lot that you can, and it is a policy that's been in place for a very long time. This is not a new policy. Now, I want to discuss with you what they mean by bulk selling. So they give you a limit of 10,000 items of whatever design you choose. So maybe you're going to use that little ghost and you're going to make 100 of those tote bags, 1,000 of those tote bags, 3,000 of those tote bags. That is allowed, except that you have to make them yourself, or like an immediate family member or friend can make them with you. You cannot send that image to somewhere like Printify or to any of those like print on demand shops. You cannot have like a large manufacturer make those for you. You have to make them yourself. So physically, you are the one who is, whether you're weeding them, printing, cutting them, whatever it is, you or a friend or family member need to be the one doing all of the work to create that physical product. Now again, a physical product is something that you can hold and touch, like a shirt, like a tote. So you can't sell those digital, remember that. But the bulk section really just kind of falls under the, you can't sell millions of this design, and you can't allow another company to be taking that design and placing it onto the blank for you. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you have any questions about the angel policy or any thoughts, please share them down below in the comments. Now, keep your comments kind. We don't need to be fighting over this. Most companies like Cricut do have what they call an angel policy, and they're all going to be fairly similar. But because Cricut is such a large brand with such a large user base, you're going to see a lot more chatter about the angel policy for them. But if you look into brands, like especially ones that have embroidery machines that may have images and licenses and things like that, you'll find very similar policies with those brands as well. Now, again, any questions or comments, let me know in those comments down below. I'll help you out as best I can. Now, I am not a lawyer, and I can only kind of try to make it make sense. I don't get all of the legalese, but I do try my best to make it so it makes sense for you. Now, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.